Our next presentation is on metadata, identifiers, and the technical standards in the global publishing, for which we have with us Mr. Ankur Mittal from DK Agencies Private Limited and Liffey Publications. Can we all give a great round of applause, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Federation of Indian Publishers for giving me this opportunity to present this topic amongst you all. I'll try to present whatever little I have learned, and when I was discussing with the conference director as to what needs to be covered, he told me that, Uncle, let it be basics of metadata, don't go into much technical details. So many of you may be knowing what the basics are, but let's go forward with the presentation. These are the topics that I'm going to cover today during the presentation, from defining the metadata and then how it can be used for marketing with specific focus on Indian languages and various formats and identifiers and the standards. What is metadata? As per Webster's dictionary, it defines metadata as data that provides information about other data, data about data. A book is a collection of data or information and a complete resource in itself. Another example of a resource can be a photograph. We use our mobile phones for taking photographs. And in most of our phones, you'll notice that we can add metadata such as location, time of the photograph, keywords, those kind of things. So metadata is very important. Data, any sort of data. We all are aware of the recent outage at a software company, due to which many things, many processes were paused for a day globally. So data has a very important role in our life now. Metadata helps us in distinguishing similar products. If we talk about a copyright-free book, same title, same author, published by two different publishers, these can be distinguished only with the help of correct metadata. We all know each book is an independent book, independent product. A children's book we cannot offer to a history professor, and a history book we cannot offer to a chemistry student. So each book has a different audience and which requires a different marketing strategy. And today in the global publishing era, we talk about rights exchanges and right deals in different with publishers in different countries. So these are also possible with the help of correct metadata about licensing and geographical rights. Metadata for books in all formats. We are not just talking about printed books, e-books, or audiobooks. Even in case of printed books, it can be hardbound, paperback, large print edition, atlases. So metadata is required for all formats, not specific to e-books or printed books only. Metadata has got a very important role as far as marketing is concerned. Book is a product and we need to market it to generate revenue. And metadata is useful in all the steps in promotion and marketing. During the pre-press process, we need to set up the promotion plans at that time itself. And AI sheets are required with descriptive information and is sent to all the users or buyers. And publishers need to bring out catalogs of different formats for different requirements, be it sales catalog, rights catalog, website. So we need to have correct metadata, a master set, a master file from which we can take out subsets, smaller subsets for fulfilling the needs. Similarly, we need data feed for booksellers, for booksellers' catalogs, and uploading on e-commerce portals. In some of the libraries are also now asked for data feed in soft format. And there are databases and search engines globally. For example, one Vikrant from Nielsen was discussing. So that is also a global database. So we can put in our book details, metadata in these search engines to make it discoverable and to reach the customers. And very important point is data analysis. As a publisher, if we want to look for books which are priced between 200 and 400, so if we have good metadata, correct metadata, we can take out that data and use it for our own analysis. And if customers are asking for any books on any particular topic or subject, I'll give you an example. As a bookseller, we received an inquiry from a librarian that they are looking for books written by Indian women authors and translated into another language. By translated into another language, they were looking for books which are actually bestsellers, because that is why they were translated. Such a typical query was possible only when we had a good set of data. So we are talking about good set of data. So what is a good set of data? What are the salient features of a good data set? It should be accurate, no typographical errors, and hygiene should be maintained. We have noticed that sometimes when indicating, for example, binding status, in one of the rows we write down HBD, in another we write down hard bound, and in the third row it will be hard space bound. So we should maintain the hygiene in the catalog so that searchability works. And data should be non-repetitive. If we have the same data repeated somewhere in our database, same rows, so it won't be helpful. So there should be no redundancy. Identifiers I am going to talk later in the presentation. And if it should be easily searchable. Structure is most important in any data set. If the structure is lost, data becomes non-usable. When we are working on spreadsheet, if we delete a particular cell, either the rows shift incorrectly or columns shift incorrectly, making the whole data non-usable. And the metadata should be compatible to be used by all the stakeholders in the supply chain. Because what is the purpose of metadata? We are making it for better sales, better revenue. And if it is not compatible, it's not of much use. Localization is again important. In earlier point I was talking about standardization, and localization is exactly opposite to standardization. But this localization can be country specific or region specific. For example, if we talk about Indian language books, transliteration tables, if we have to give data to share data with global players, the transliteration has to be with standard transliteration tables using diacritic marks and all, so that it can be understood by the users globally. But if we have local users, will require transliteration as per the local usage. Metadata should be user friendly, presentable, informative, and it should be designed in such a way that it has a long-term usage, similar to the going concern principle that we have in accountancy. So metadata is also should be designed in similar format. In India, more than half of the publishing is in Indian languages, and our government is also promoting publishing in Indian languages now. For transliteration, we should be using some standard formats. Many of us use different formats. Some are like designed by each publisher. In India, generally the formats that are being used are, one was designed by National Library, the other one is designed by CDAC, and there are many international transliteration tables as well. Again, transliteration, whatever form tables we are using, we should maintain it We have seen when the operator has changed or a cataloger has changed, the transliteration table, usage of transliteration table also change, and there comes the hygiene issue. The metadata is not clean, and when we talk about Indian languages, Unicode has a major role to play. When the metadata is in original script, it helps the reader to connect with the book more easily. I am a Hindi user, so if I am able to see Hindi book in Devanagari script on the e-commerce portal, I would have better liking towards it. And if I talk about operational level, if there is a publisher in Kerala and he has staff knowing Malayalam, so lists that he is working on, if it is in Malayalam, it will be easier for him rather than working on lists in Roman script. So while preparing this presentation, I myself defined a few levels in metadata. So these are the basic fields that a publisher must include in their metadata. And if we go a little higher, I have termed it as medium level. So the physical dimensions, the contributors information, subject and classifications, discounts, and geographical region, if it is for sale only in South Asia or if it has got global rights. So those kind of information becomes important. And if we go for advanced, then we should have at least title, author, publisher in the original language, original script. Table of contents, about the author, description about the books, and if the book has got any award. So these kind of fields enhance our data. There are hundreds of fields, and if the publisher creates a larger master file, it becomes easier to produce its subsets and use it wherever there is a need. Now I'm going to talk about various formats that we can have metadata in. The most easiest way, spreadsheets. Easy to start, we all know. Many small and medium publishers are using spreadsheets. No formal training required. But what happens is, if many staff members are working on the same master file, there are going to be errors because anybody may by mistake delete or edit or add any data. So hygiene issues are going to be there, and there are very limited validations that we can put into a spreadsheet. If we talk about a column, we can specify that it can contain only numeric data, but if we want that numeric data, and if we talk about pagination, that it should end with p dot, we cannot make a validation of that sort in Excel, or if we can, we need special training for that. Spreadsheets easily portable to any third parties. We simply email, they reach the customer, they are also easily able to use them. Onyx. Many of us would have heard about Onyx. Onyx stands for Online Information Exchange. It was developed by Editor and their other counterparts in the year 2000. Now it is being maintained by Editor. Onyx 3.0 and 3.1 code lists. Issue 66 was released on 16th July 2024. It has got user groups in more than 25 countries. I'm happy to inform that FIP has joined hands with Editor and is now a member of Editor user groups. I had the opportunity to attend the meeting before this code set issue 66 was released. They go into deeper and deeper details. I'll give you an example. EUDR, EU Deforestation Regulation, is soon going to be implemented in Europe. In this regulation, publisher needs to mention, print in the book on the somewhere on the copyright page as to where they sourced the paper from, and which trees and pulp was used, which forest was used to cut those trees and produce the pulp and paper. So that is EUDR. And Onyx has created fields to insert that information in the data feed. So that is how vast Onyx is. And it is very difficult for a bookseller to produce a Onyx data feed. Only a publisher knows a book in that detail. So publisher can make the best data in the Onyx format because it needs much detailed information. It is an XML standard metadata optimized for computer to computer communication. Again, hundreds and hundreds of fields. I cannot even number them. It's a standard specification for communicating book metadata between publishers, distributors, wholesalers, book databases, and retailers in the book supply chain. Mark 21. It is acronym of machine readable cataloging. It is mostly used by libraries globally. Again, a structured data set for seamless portability. It is a set standard for representing and communicating bibliographic and related information in machine readable form. There are 5 types of databases or data structures: bibliographic data, authority data, holdings data, classification data, and community information data. It also supports Unicode character set for all the languages. CIP data. You might have seen books from UK, US and other countries with CIP data printed on the TP verse, so copyright page of the book. It is also called pre-publication cataloging or prenatal cataloging. It is prepared before the book has been published. It supports publishers in preparing data feed. When I was talking about usage of metadata, I said that the work starts when we are doing prepress. So CIP start at the time of prepress. It helps select when the book has been published. When we submit physical books to libraries for selection, it helps selectors to select the book, and it helps in book processing as well for libraries and book dealers. In case of Indian languages, it is very important. But if an Indian language publisher is not able to get CIP done, they can at least publish author, title and subject of the book in transliterated format in Roman text, so that anybody who doesn't know that language can at least identify that book. If it is a Tamil book, I don't know Tamil, but if author, title and subject is given on the copyright page in Roman script, I'll be able to identify it. I have a couple of examples of CIP. This is CIP from Library of Congress in the US. This is CIP of an Indian book in English language. DK provide CIP data for free to the publishers. Although we spend 500 to 600 rupees on each title, but we do not charge anything from the publishers right now. But we expect publishers not to make any change in the format. Even the spaces, full stops, all the punctuation marks, because each of them has got role. This is an example of book in Sanskrit language. Here you can see the usage of diacritic marks, which are very important in the Indian languages. Now I'm going to talk about popular identifiers. There are local identifiers also for each country. Product identifier, ISBN. We all know ISBN. 1.7 million ISBNs have been allotted as per the website of our national agency. But as publisher, we should be very careful that ISBNs are not repeated on the distinct books. We have seen many such cases in the past. We did an MIS on our database for the last 10 years, and it was surprising to see that only 80.8% books had ISBN, which means 20% books, almost 20% book did not have an ISBN, which means 20% books do not have those marketing opportunities. And in those 80% that had ISBNs, 2% had invalid ISBNs. Either the check digit was wrong, or check digit was missing, or the publisher used a 14-digit ISBN, and similar type of problem. ISBN is a 13-digit ISBN now. Earlier it used to be 10-digit. And publishers have I've seen queries that publishers have queries or confusion about whether a new ISBN is required in a revised edition, multi-volume, a different ISBN is required for paperback, hardbound. These kind of queries frequently come. So publishers should be well aware of how an ISBN needs to be given on the book. Subject identifiers. These are different subject identifiers used globally, and some are particular to India. For example, colon classification code was developed in India by Professor Ranganathan. BIC subject category has now moved into thema subject category. Name identifiers. ISNI. ISNI is given by ISNI International Agency. It is a numeric number for each creator. An identifier for the creator. Creator can be author, an illustrationist, a photographer. And as publisher, we should start getting ISNI for the authors and publish them into our book. It will reduce fake publishing. It will reduce plagiarism, because author will have statement of responsibility when his identity, his unique number is printed on the book. Similarly, NACO is an identifier given by Library of Congress. We now know that metadata is important to produce an organized catalog for our better sales, more revenue, and global reach, and a drill down marketing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the insight into the world of metadata, to the relevant stakeholders, for filling these voids. I will now invite on stage Mr. Sahil Gupta to kindly come on stage and felicitate our speaker, Mr. Ankur Mittal. Can we all give a great round of applause, please? I hope with the insights you've given all of us, we can create an improved marketing strategy for better monetary returns.